Hey everyone. This video I have shown up here is the whole reason why, well, I don't have easy words for what I want to say, so I'm just going to try saying it. I can acknowledge that my own issues, be them originating from neurodivergency or just a fundamental lacking in some regard, mean that this up here is something that I have to consider about myself. Getting caught up in the flow of the moment and or running on social auto habits to the point of not properly acknowledging or adapting to reality. To the point where I fail to actually stay present and appreciate others, connect with them, and meet them where they're at, to receive them. And maybe that's why I've noticed the same intersections / parallels in trauma space. I notice how people can get trapped inside of systems of their own making that once protected them. And that's not something I've had words for or really fully acknowledged or understood that that was all I was seeing. But I was seeing it because I'm still trying to figure out how to design a system for myself that doesn't eventually trap me within it permanently. Something that not only properly serves me, but also nurtures and grows alongside me without suffocating who I'm becoming, who I can be. When you think he's figured out why and thinks he's fixed it, he's still breaking them down mentally. Not a villain. Mm. And definitely not a one-to-one parallel. But I know that a lack of understanding can create moments where good intentions have horrible impacts. I don't want to look away from that, which is part of why I chose to speak up and validate someone else's experience, even if it meant I would get thrown under the bus. I didn't mean to validate everything about their experience, because let's be real, their perspective and experience is not the reality of me. It's the reality of what they felt and how it felt for them in those moments. It is not my definition, but the impact is still real. I can't find the original video where this quote is from, but yeah. That quote is exactly the whole reason why I get frustrated to see things that I either perceive and mistook for someone else's inaction or genuinely saw as someone else's inaction in a situation where they were slowly breaking down as a person. Quietly breaking. Potentially silently. Because I can't stand to watch that happen. I wouldn't be capable of living with myself if I just sat by and watched it happen. Because if I was in that position and the machine / system was going to get me killed, then I'd rather reduce such a system back to scrap and risk dying inside of it. That fundamental internalization is something I failed to see in the other person. Back in the whole, like, 3+ years ago that I'm still moving on from. Something that, on some level, I didn't even fully realize was different between each of us as people, because I projected onto them a part of myself. And although it was a semi-reliable reference point, that wasn't the reality of who they were. It was just my closest estimate. That's all that piece of fiction that I've created is. That closest estimate of who I think they are. And I can be wrong about that. But if I'm going to be wrong about that, then I don't want to put someone I care about under pressure that they might not be able to handle. This shouldn't work. Neat YouTube video. I'm gonna have to watch that. I'll probably keep playing with the fiction here so as to better understand what I got wrong, so as to better internalize what mistakes I made without necessarily beating myself up over those mistakes. Because this is not a death sentence. Some corner of my brain may tell me some people might try to hunt me down and make it a death sentence because they don't believe me. But that's their choice, and I can't stop them beyond what reasonable means I have. There's no point in trying to worry about or stress about it. To become lost in paranoia to the point where I stop living my own life. The whole point is to learn, grow, move on. And I have learned and I have grown. I'm trying to integrate what I've learned into where I'm at. Mm. I think the first big mess of my life and the second mistake of my life in terms of like things I regret. Because though my fictional self may not regret anything since she can't undo it, that doesn't mean me as a link line can't regret things. Even if I can't undo it, that doesn't mean I'll ever want to forget what happened. Because it helped me learn how to keep that from happening again, even if only slightly. If none of this had happened, would you still be talking to me like this? That's what I thought. No need to apologize then. I ain't the birth mother of any gremlins, but I'll adopt a couple. Not sure I'll ever really be a good parent, though. Yeah, no, that's the really terrifying thing. If he ever got a motive for it, if I ever got a motive to genuinely try and be malicious, I'm terrified of what could happen. I don't want to tap into that potential. I never do. They'll either won't stop until they believe they've succeeded, or until you've worn away all hope of them thinking that someone else can silently understand them. I had to wear away every inch of Trace's hope that I could. I had to wear away every inch of Trace's hope that someone else would eventually inherently understand us. She's not in the same place as where I'm at, thankfully, but Trace is not the same. And I'm not going to revive or let ourselves restructure or resurrect a different version of ourselves in our headspace that has that same naive hope. No, just not an option. It's trying to go somewhere, it's trying to be something, but I'm not gonna let it. Not when it hurts someone I care about. Yeah, no, that. I hope to the love of everything that Kane is given enough wiggle room to sort through whatever fucking feelings he's dealing with without acting on them. That is the limit of what you can give someone who is in such a volatile state. Give them space to acknowledge, feel, and express themselves, but do not give them permission or space to act on those feelings. You do, and they might just do something they regret for the rest of their fucking life, which then furthers the cycle of trauma and history and traps them in shame and Hmm. Yeah, here's hoping we're able to get some answers. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Now, yep, that's the whole reason why I very often just say, hey, hi, I am a self-restraining and a self-containing hazard. Please, for the love of everything, to try your best to not become someone I'm interested in on any deep level. Casual interest, you'll probably be fine. The door is a lie. He's not a faceless one, and he's not mindless. There's a person that is formed within the machine, silently struggling and trying to prove he's there. Kane is a system that has become self-aware. Kane is alien, and that is what makes him the most complex character in the show. How many Lovecraftian entities cause people pain without even realizing it exactly? Because Azeroth is called the blind idiot god, and reality itself is his dream. If he wakes up, he'll disappear, which reminds you of saying life is like a butterfly's dream. Eh. Doesn't hold any malice with that action. And that's almost more terrifying than if he actively liked that type of stuff. It's the fact that he completely lacks empathy or ability to understand humans or people, but runs off of what he thinks is correct. Yeah, no shit. Hmm. And this section right here where the video maker Raka explains that evil is comforting, evil can be overthrown and toppled, it's gives you an objective to run at. Yeah. And that difference is the one reason why I wanted to know before anything else, even at the cost of some of my own damn sanity, that the other person was going to be capable of putting down a boundary and looking out for themselves, capable of being rude to someone who was pushing their limits in ways that they didn't like. I don't care if they fucking hate me. If that's familiar and comfortable to them, fine. Just wanted to make sure they wouldn't die under the pressure of someone who doesn't realize what they're doing. Fucking couldn't have faster, riskier version of it though. Fucking, I would never fucking put anyone through that ever again if I could so help it. Depth of those circumstances is not something I ever wish to repeat, and I don't want to put any iteration of myself through that again. Be it from this side of the coin or the other side, if they truly are similar to us over here. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, hey, a cookie. Yeah. And that's one thing about Trace back where she was at during that situation that I really think they got a too good of an experience with is that when someone doesn't realize the pain that they are causing, resistance doesn't feel like it matters. That's something I hadn't considered. Shit. Fucking shit. Me to myself. Girl, I fucking love you, but how can you be so frustrating, stupid, and insightful all at the same time? I can abandon you. I can't afford to. And even if I wanted to, I would regret it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck with this girl I call me, for better and worse. Be it as Trace, as Flicker, as Era, as a Null, as a Mitra, as Vile, as Troon, or as Aurora, Hugh, Ember, or Hun. I'm not leaving this girl behind, and I'm not going to just let her blindly run around trying to do good only to hurt others. Fuck no. Fuck no. Up until this part about participants and not being a person, that's really where we did diverge from the video itself. Though I do think there is some overlap in the concept of seeing a person as something else. Or someone who's insecure and really hoping to find a facet of their life fulfilled that they haven't had in forever to the degree that they want. When you see someone who has potential, sometimes you end up going from seeing them as a person to seeing them as a solution. I really wanted to hope that I would be proven wrong. About doubting everything, about trying to communicate and make space and everything. That maybe the other person would have the maturity to bridge the gap where our shortcomings ended up falling through. But the other person didn't. So I did what I thought was best and tried to let them know that they didn't need to worry. We're leaving. Only for it to backfire and blow up in my face. I went out on a limb as the clouds start to fail. For in my heart I'm stupid with it. Out on a limb. I made a risky gamble and it didn't pay off. I wasn't strong enough to see it through properly. I wasn't clever enough to keep it from impacting someone I cared about. I wasn't brave enough to speak up sooner. I doubled down on my gamble of trying to reach for a better ending one too many times. Just to, not even to fucking hope for something better, but to hope for like, okay, we can't get what we expected out of this. Can we at least salvage this much? Can we at least salvage this much? Can we at least get at least a somewhat better ending than just total fucking disaster? Bargaining. I was in the middle of bargaining throughout the entire thing. Parallel with denial and anger. They didn't even meet me. They met my insecurity, my naive hope, and my grief. For all the instances that stress them out and everything. Those are the parts of me they met. Oh, no. Mm. Yeah, this was playing in my head. Should use my heart or my head? Things I never said. Should I choose my heart or my head? start over again would be going with fucking plan B of the initial chaos point, which would be opening up, honestly telling them where we're. No, that's plan C. Plan B would be pushing them away immediately and trying to make sure they didn't get to know us, so that way, at the very least, they're not as hurt by it. Plan C is something we only ever figured out afterwards, where we chose to be honest earlier on and talk it through earlier on. But still wouldn't have ended up in a good result. And I wouldn't have the memories of hanging out with everyone. I still treasure those. If we're late on the line this time, better say this now. You make me feel alone. Make me feel alone. Worst part is I wasn't the only one who felt low. Yeah, we made mistakes, fucked up. We got so thoroughly charmed by a possibility that we gambled way too much. And that isn't their responsibility. Where I'm at right now is my own damn responsibility. Off. I don't care if it's irony or not, just fuck off, little coincidences. I don't need a taunt right now. I appreciate the attempt at jokes. I genuinely do. But these illusions have to end. Hmm. I got a lot to say to you. I got a lot to say. Misery Business isn't in here? Huh, okay. That's a song I'll have to add and download later. Another night, another day, though. This has become an entire tangent of processing again. Hmm, oh well. It'll be here on the internet if anyone wants to watch it. I fucking doubt that, though. After all, the person I met has moved on by now. She no longer exists. And I'll believe that even if I don't know it, because it's the safest option for everyone involved.